Welcome to Minister Ben Willis Blast Off Podcast. I'm your host, Minister Ben Willis. And before we get started, I would like you to subscribe to my channel. I want you to like and share and leave comments. In fact, I welcome your comments, and a lot of you had some kind words and saying some great things, and I really respect where you're coming from, and it helps me to get better. Well, today's show, I have a young man on that I respect, that I love. I honor what he has to say. He shows a lot of knowledge and wisdom that I listen to. This is my younger brother, James Willis. James, are you there?
Hey, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, I'm here.
I'm doing just fine.
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I couldn't wait to. I mean, it is an honor for you to be here with me. I haven't been back. I'm glad to be back because I hit what's called a creative wall, and I couldn't come up with any content. And so, I just took my time and just kind of. Some people meditate. When that happens, they meditate. Some people do yoga. Some people go to the beach and look at the serenity of the water. Some people even go in the mountains, look at the mountain goats and look off afar. Some people even do that. I didn't get a chance to do that, but I did stop and, get my mind and everything together because I don't want to bring just inferior content to my shows. So, and so I'm glad to be back. I haven't did anything since December of 2021. So I'm glad to be back. And having you.
Good to have you back.
Yeah. And having you as my first guest, so I'm very, very thankful that you. I'm glad that you're here. Before I get started, though, I want to talk about these groups of people. They call themselves woke, call themselves conscious. Some of these guys we're black consciousness, and they're the biggest frauds I ever seen. My friend of mine, he said, you ever hear those guys that call themselves conscious and conscious community? I said, yeah, I have. He said, they crazy. I said, well, I kind of be around the conscious community. And so, he was really attacking them. And then I had to say, yeah, they're crazy as hell. I said, they're crazy as I don't know what. A lot of them are just fakes and phonies, frauds. They talk a good game and they back up and produce nothing. And I don't like people that take advantage of people. They say all these different things and all that kind of stuff, and maybe they can mesmerize some people who are not aware and dazzling with words and stuff like that. And they'll be like, yeah, they're okay, a lot of that nonsense. And it's all nonsense. And all you get, and the thing is Chicago raised me. I know game when I see it. And from all forms and all walks, I know game when I see it. And yeah, ain't nobody safe. And I'm blasting them because, you're taking advantage of people. And I don't like nobody that take advantage of people. I really don't. I can't stand that. I don't like it. And for those people in the conscious community that are not backing up what they're saying and what they're doing, I hope your soul burns slow. That's right. I said that. I said that. And I'm not hard to find if you got a problem with it. And you know what, brother? It's going to be some people that's going to be upset. They might be upset with me. And that's for those moist dudes, those guys that's moist, and they soft and very emotional. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of these guys like that now, man. They want to thump their chest, but when they're confronted, then they want to hunker down and act like a little girl in 12th grade. Oh, man, I don't want to get started.
That's true. It's true. The thing is, they say all these things, right? They say all this stuff. Now, my thing is, how are you going to try to get all these people to listen to you when your body of work isn't feasible? It's not visible. You can't go to it and say, I've done this. And so folks can sit there and go, hey, I'll go on your link and go ... and there you are. You spent all this crap, and we can't go to whatever.com and see what body of work you've done. So how can we take you seriously? But you still call yourself woke. You call yourself a fraud. You know.
Basically.
So I
Basically.
do feel you when you say that. I do feel your passion when you say, I wish these guys would burn, because you're leading these folks astray with this fraudulent talk. I feel you, brother.
Yes, so the thing is, like I said, ain't nobody safe. And I'm calling them straight out. I'm not lying on them, because whatever they say they're doing is baseless, because they have nothing to fall back on. It's just talk. You know what they say about talk?
Yeah.
Talk ain't nothing but bad breath. Don't get me started. Hey, bro, let me go. I'm gonna make a lateral move to something else. We know that there's a unrest in the Ukraine and Russia. Okay, we know what the situation is there. But it's a basketball player from the WNBA. Her name is Brittney Griner. Brittney Griner is a star basketball player here in the United States, playing for the WNBA. And with the WNBA, with them, their salaries, they don't make as much money as the NBA players, the male NBA players. So what they do when the season's over, they go overseas. Like they go to Greece, they go to Italy, they go to France, and she plays in Russia. So after the season was over in Russia, she's coming back to the United States, and they find some cannabis oil in her luggage, and they arrest her.
Right.
And so now she's sitting in a Russian jail. And I think she's been in there now about maybe close to a month now.
Right.
And they're looking at her. They're talking about giving her 10 years for that. Now it comes out like it's looking like she's a political pawn. And now it gets real dicey, because now, you got Joe Biden, you got Vladimir Putin, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. Now, let me ask you a question.
True.
When you go to another country, they got different kind of laws.
Exactly.
And she got cannabis weed, cannabis weed oil, and she's trying to come back here to the United States. And evidently, it's against the law because they arrested her.
Yeah.
And when you're in another country in jail, and the majority of people don't speak the language, you're in a really tough situation. Do you think that she's being a political prisoner, or they should have just released her and let her go?
With the relationship Russia has with the United States, I wouldn't put it past Russia to put that out there, to make her that, to show an example to the United States, because we never really had a good rapport with the U.S. Now, Trump, he comes up and he wants to be buddy-buddy with the KGB, and we never was really buddy-buddy with these guys whatsoever. And Putin, he still doesn't like the United States. So, yeah, I can see them making her public enemy number one. Yeah.
Wow, that's and it's not a political show, but I do want to chime in on what you're talking about, because as long as I've been on this earth, and let me put it this way, I'm 60 plus years. Let's put it that way. I'm not 70, but I'm 60 plus years, and all that I ever remember was that the United States was on this end of the spectrum, and the Soviet Union, Russia, was on that end of the spectrum. And I remember all the presidents that came from Russia, with Nikita Khrushchev and Gorbachev, all those different names, and Brezhnev. They were, they had a problem with the United States, and the United States had a problem with them. These are world powers. These are world powers. And so I've never seen the United States and Russia become buddy-buddy. And if they ever got together, they always looked at each other with a side eye. It's too bad that she's a political pawn in that sense, and I hope things work out well for her and anybody that travels abroad. Know the law. Know the law, what you're doing. Know the law, what you're doing. I know you're able to use cannabis and stuff like that here in America. But it's still places that is forbidden. There's still places that are forbidden.
Oh, yeah.
You can't go and have a weed break, and you work in corporate America and you working on big contracts and stuff, and you go downstairs and where everybody else have a little drink or something like that, and you out there having a blunt, and then you trying to do contracts, you know, that's forbidden. You know, that's crazy. Hey,
and the sad part about her, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I would say the sad part about her, she just signed a contract for $600,000.
Wow.
A 4-month contract.
Wow.
That's like, wow, with the I think the Shanghai Golden Bulls.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Sad, yeah.
Yeah, well,
go ahead, bro.
That's a big price to pay for that cannabis oil. Well, I know. You know what she should have did. I mean, if it was me, and I don't do any of that. I don't do drugs or nothing like that. But if I had the cannabis oil and they had me there at the airport, I would break away as fast as I can and drink all the cannabis oil up that was in that bottle, and then I'd have to float my way through that jail.
That's right.
I'm not making light of that situation, but on the other side, you should know the law. And my advice to anybody that's traveling abroad, that you should know the law and don't do anything that get you, that you'll compromise your freedom. You know, I was watching this. We was talking business about New York had had that mandate law for the virus and everything. They had the mandate, and they shut everything down. And there's a player. It was a player named Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving plays for the Brooklyn Nets in New York.
Right.
And so the mandate was, if you were not vaccinated, then you couldn't play in indoor. You couldn't participate in indoor sports and things of that nature, and restaurants and any kind of sporting event. Well, he's a player, and he decided that he's not going to get the vaccine. And so there's a big, of course, there's a big brouhaha going back and forth. Get the vaccine, don't get it. Well, he believed that his faith and everything else. No, I don't think it's his faith. I think it's his belief that he's not going to take the vaccine. Okay, so he couldn't play, but then they said he couldn't play at all for the Brooklyn Nets. Then, because he's such a great player, that the Brooklyn Nets ownership say, well, we're going to let you play away games where there's no mandate. So with that being said, man, those sports writers and announcers was dragging this guy through the mud. They was dogging him
through the mud
on what he believed in, and it's his job. And they were like, this guy murdered somebody. They called him all kinds of names. And this young fella is a college student. He was a college student. He went to college. And you're calling him ignorant, dumb, foolish, stupid, all those types of vile names. And they were coming from black sports writers.
Yeah.
They're coming from them. Stephen, I'm not going to give these guys. I'm not going to give these guys the publicity, not on my show. But they were doing that, and I'm looking at like, wow, why can't you just respect what they said? So they kept trying to put pressure on him because Brooklyn was losing games. They said, man, if you go ahead and get vaccinated, you can help your team win. And so now the mayor of New York, and they're hitting them with the question too, will Kyrie Irving be able to play? And he said, he needs to get vaccinated. Well, fast forward, opening day for the baseball season. You had the New York Yankees opening season in New York. About 7 of 8 players are non-vaccinated.
Right.
And all of a sudden, 2 days later, the mayor lifted the vaccine mandate.
Right.
And I say, that's a business move because the New York Yankees basically make New York a ton of money. Ton of money.
Well, it's all about some money, really.
That's what it's all about. Yeah. And so they lifted the mandate. Kyrie Irving is playing, of course. And they, like I said, they lifted the mandate because the Yankees are playing. And that's where most of their revenue was coming from. And then I heard last week, the mayor of New York just, came down with COVID. I said, wow, that's amazing.
Right. I mean, I was on Kyrie's side from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, everything's about ratings and stuff like that. So these African American analysts, they're doing a lot for their company in quotations.
Yeah.
Okay. They'll do their dance for these guys.
Right.
But my thing is, Kyrie spoke to his physicians. He got information going, I don't think you should. Mm-hmm. And so he's going on his physicians. The players are going, hey, man, but you said if we come here with you, then we'll play. Yeah, that was before I was told by my physician, this isn't good for me.
Right.
So now this guy has a choice. Do I do something that's going to benefit me, mm-hmm. or do something that's going to benefit you guys? Right. Well, put the shoe on the other foot.
Right. It's
like, oh, man, but we did it. Well, then you trust your physician. I trust mine.
Right.
For my health.
Yes.
And Cats didn't want to believe that. They was like, that ain't right. So if you don't play, we're gonna lose, and we're gonna blame you. Kyrie stood on his own 2 feet and said, okay. Now I look at it like this also. Whatever happens between him and his boss, right, of the Nets is between him and his boss.
Right.
You other cats ain't had nothing to say. Especially these analysts. Right. It's between him and his boss.
Right.
Come on now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was then the thing is, what I said, that he didn't do anything wrong. He came.
Right.
He didn't do nothing wrong. He came in shape. He's ready to play basketball. He's a basketball player. And unfortunately, the mandate came, and he's in the middle of it, and they tried to point everything at him. And I'm like, no, that's not right. I said, that's not right.
How you gonna do that? That's not right, man.
No, that's not.
That's not right.
Speaking of basketball and sports, I gotta veer to the Chicago sports scene.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, the Chicago Bulls play in the playoffs. They play against the Milwaukee Bucks. In fact, the world champ Milwaukee Bucks. What do you think, the Bulls got a chance? You think they'll win some games?
You know what?
I love
the Bulls. I love the Bulls. That's my team. That's my home team, of course. However, they don't have rim protection. They don't have that rim protection.
Yeah, they don't.
And they're going to feed this cat down low, him and the other center, guys, begins with the B. Lopez, right. Yeah. They're going to feed these guys down low all day long.
Wow. Yeah.
That's going to be the strategy. That will be my strategy. We're going to feed these cats down low.
Yeah.
Because they have no rim protection. But you know what? I'm not mad at that. Right. That's going to give the Bulls some experience for next year.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm not mad at that.
So do you think the Bulls going to win a playoff game?
They'll win one.
They'll win one?
I say one.
Okay. Well, we'll see tomorrow. Okay. And our beloved Chicago Bears. The NFL draft comes up in 2 weeks.
Oh,
what do you think the first position they should draft for?
Well, let's see. I was all over the place with these guys. So my thing is, I say the big top was the actual offensive line.
Yes.
And they was going on left tackle. So they was talking about left tackle, Tevin this, that, Tevin. I say let's shoot for a wide receiver.
Oh.
Let's find somebody that Justin can throw to.
Okay.
That's what Justin can throw to.
Yeah, that's just that's interesting. That's very interesting. Some people say get a line that can protect him. Some people say get him a weapon that he can throw to. It's going to be interesting. Do you like the moves?
I can't wait.
Do you like the moves that the general manager is making?
Matt and oh boy, these guys, they're making some moves. The fans ain't liking these moves. They're trying to make it to where we're not going to win something right away. We're not going to go to the Super Bowl right away. This is going to take about a good 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. They're doing stuff that say, let's at least be competitive. Let's try to win the division. Let's try to beat Green Bay twice. Mm-hmm. At the same time, we're not going to go and win the Super Bowl. But if we could just win at least either being first or just win the division. That's doing something. So that's showing us what we got, and then he's and they're making a lot of space for cap. I mean, there's a lot of cap space. It's like, man, and the fans didn't like the whole Mac move. Oh, they did not like that Mac move.
Right. Yeah.
That Mac move was but they had to do it. They had to do it for the cap space.
Well, they got a good 3 years to see if they could turn the Bears around to be contenders and to to be a viable team to always contend for a Super Bowl. They got 3 years for that, or they'll be ran out of town too. I'm gonna go with this. Did you hear about Willie Wilson giving free gas to the people in Chicago? In fact, Willie Wilson is a self-made millionaire, and what he did was he gave out $50, different gas stations. He gave out $50 worth of gas to anybody that came there for free, and wound up the total was like $1 million. He gave out $1 million worth of gas to anybody that pulled up to the pump. And believe me, and that is a great thing that he did. I am not going to down this guy on what he did because he does a lot of good things, man. He does a lot of good things for people. But I got a question, and the question came to me was, he's spending his money on gas, for gas. Why don't he just buy the gas stations? Why don't he have gas? Do you know, can you tell me, in the black community, is there any black gas stations?
There's a few.
Where?
Not a lot.
Where?
There's a few. The ones that he had was, I think 99th and off the Expressway. I think that might be black owned.
No, it's not.
Halsted.
No,
Halsted.
No, neither one.
No,
neither one. Neither one.
Okay.
These are Arabs run those gas. I know exactly what you're talking about. On both sides across the street. Yeah.
On both sides. Okay. Right.
Those are Arabs.
I thought those two was black owned.
No, they were not. They were not. And so the thing is, unfortunately, when you spend that kind of money like that in those gas stations, that money does not go back into that black community. It goes out. It goes out of the black community. It goes to the banks where those owners live and bank at. So I would just think, wow, just buy some black gas stations. That's just what my question. Again, what he did was amazing. I'm not beating it down. It's just food for thought. It's food for thought. One more other thing. I think I'm going to go into that a little bit. The slap heard around the world.
Not the slap.
The Will Smith and Chris Rock slap. I need to get your take on that. I need to get your take.
94 years of the Academy. 94 years, almost a freaking century. And this happens. And wow, it just speaks volume. It speaks a mental letdown volume. Why you say mental letdown volume? Well, on Will's part, he got his whole life out there in front of the news. He got his whole life out there in front of the media. Everyone sees what he's doing, his family is doing. And to pretty much do that, well, that just put an exclamation point on your life. See? And I have to look at Chris Rock and go, wow.
That's what he said, and that's exactly what he said. He said, wow.
Yeah, right. It's like, wow, It's like to sit there and go, I'm going to take this and have the discretion to go, let's move on with the show. This makes Will look really bad, man. It really does.
Really? I've heard people say that.
Everyone knows. Because everyone knows where it came from. Everybody knows where it came from. Yeah.
The thing is I did, and I'm tired of the whole thing, but I just had to put it up because it's on, it's everywhere. So I just wanted to talk about it. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I did.
No problem.
I did interview a few people. I interviewed a few white women. They said Will Smith was wrong. I interviewed a few white males. They said Will Smith was wrong. I interviewed some black males. They said Will Smith was wrong. I interviewed some black women. They said Will Smith was right.
Yeah.
And I looked at the dynamic and I said, and it made me think now. It made me think that if I was at an award show and our father was at the award show and our mother was sitting there at the award show and someone was cracking jokes on our mother, I'm going up on stage. And listen, and my father better be right behind me, getting ready to go up on stage to defend my mother. That's how I say. But I asked my sons that. I say, if someone was doing my sons, I'm going to jail. I just wanted to get that take. It's interesting. It's on, you got two ends of the spectrum, and I think in the middle, it comes down to belief is what you think, and I don't think there's no right or wrong answer. It just comes down to what you think and everything else like that. Hey, brother, it's just so much to unpack. But again, the time is getting at me, man.
I was having fun with you, man.
We got to do this again.
Yes, sir.
We really got to unpeel the bears. Oh, here's another thing I want to say. Here's another thing I want to say because I was thinking about this. I heard some people, this woke conscious community said that professional sports is like slavery. They say it's like slavery. How idiotic is that? That they're so woke and conscious that professional sports is like slavery. I think they downplay slavery like that so bad because professional athletes are getting paid $200 million. $200 million. $200 million to shoot a basketball hoop, throw a touchdown pass, or hit a baseball. 200 millions. And these idiots are talking about it is like slavery. Where these guys make money and change their generations.
The games has been going on since the freaking Romans. The games have been going on since the Romans. The athletic, the freaking God, I can't think of the word. I mean, just all the types of games that's going on in Greek and stuff like that. The Olympics, and no, that has nothing to do with woke consciousness. You're just mad because you're not making the money.
So it's coming from some broke conscious people that are talking about something like this. And I'm gonna say another thing. Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna write on some names. Who's more popular? Martin Luther King or Muhammad Ali? I'm talking about more popular all over the world. Martin Luther King.
Muhammad Ali.
Let's see. Who's the most popular all over the world? Malcolm X or Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
They got the biggest platform going. The athletes.
Yeah.
They have the biggest influence all over the world. So these idiots that's trying to champion these people, all they doing is talk. You know how you go to the tavern and sit there and have a Long Island iced tea and talk about foolishness and walk out as crazy as hell as you was before you walked in there talking that? Brother, I gotta leave. And you know where I'm going? I'm going to Portillo's. And I'm going to Portillo's. And I'm going to get me one of those charred cheeseburgers.
That's good.
At one of my spots, man. At one of my spots. Brother, it was nice talking to you, man.
Same here, man. And congratulations on what you're doing. I have to tell you that,
Thank you so much. Tell Rose I said hello, man, and I'll talk to you later.
Will do, bro.
All right.
Yes, sir. You take care. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that was another great show, and that was my younger brother, and I was glad to talk to him, and I'm glad to be back in front of the camera, and I want to bring you more good content. Thank you, and see you soon.